Let's do it. Okay, cool. We are recording. Good morning. All right, let's get this going, okay? Chat is up. And me. Yeah, that's right. I see you online. I see you. Okay, hey guys, so we're talking about buyers today. So what we are going to learn about is the consultation and why it's important. So this is going to be an interactive class. It's going to be super important for you to ask questions. It's going to be super important for you to get involved in this, right? There we go. Okay, Lindy gets it. Lindy gets it. Lindy gets it. Okay, good. Very good. Here for the show. That's right. That's right. If you don't know me, I get to be animated very quickly, and we're going to have a good time today, right? Yes. Okay, good. Good. We're learning real quick. We're learning quick. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so who knows what a buyer consultation is? Cole knows what a buyer consultation is. Cole, define a buyer consultation. So what I hear you saying is that it's a time for you to meet with a buyer, set expectations, define what you're going to be doing, and then moving forward, right? That's what I heard. Okay. Correct. Who else? Who else? Anybody? Anybody? Cole gave a very good description, and just so everyone remembers, we have to talk into microphones. Otherwise, I have to repeat what you say, and if you go on long tangents, I'm not going to remember what you said. So help me, help you, help them. Cool? Awesome. Okay, so consultations are very simple, but they are the most effective way to make sure that you are doing your job to the best of your ability. What a consultation should consist of. In my consultations, it's 4 steps. Very simple 4 steps. And I'll tell them as I'm sitting down with them. Number 1, I want to get to know you. Number 2, I want you to get to know me because you don't know me and I don't know you. There's number 1. Number 3 is we're going to talk about real estate and what you're looking for. And then lastly, we're going to talk about what it takes to hire me. Who knows why I go in that order? That was a question. Who? So Lindy said to set expectations and to see if they want to hire me. Why else? Why else would I go in that order? Cole. You talk a lot, brother. I'm gonna have that right there for you. That's okay. So say that again.
Just to build a relationship and establish trust with the client and show that you are considering their needs before you actually go and ask for their business.
That's right. So it's to establish a relationship, to build trust. It's to build rapport. The reason we go, I want to know you, and then I want you to know me, is I want to get to know who they are. They're going to get into, in number 1, they are going to get into, I want to talk about real estate. So I want, a 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage. And I'm going to say, whoa, hold on. Wait a second. I want to know you. We'll talk about real estate. That's step 3. You're skipping me. Don't skip me. Yeah, I want you to know me too. Remember? We're going to get into that. So in step 1, again, I want to get to know them. So the questions I'm going to be asking them is if they're a couple, how long have they been together? How did they meet? What do they like to do? What's a weekend look like for them? Do they have any animals? What are the things that you enjoy most? Where do you like to eat? Why are these questions that I'm going to be asking? To get to know them. But inside of that, I'm also making mental notes of, okay, they have a dog. I know that a fence is going to be important. So when I get to step 3, I can repeat to them in saying, hey, so I know that you said you had a dog earlier. So a fence is going to be important to you, isn't it? If you listen to them in number 1 and getting to know them, they've told you basically all you need to know about step 3. Again, step 1 is to get to know them. Step 2 is to get to know you, to me. to get to know me. Step 3 is we're going to talk about real estate. Step 4 is going to be, sorry, I woke up with like some, when you go from 70 degrees to 30 degrees to whatever today is, and you have allergies like me, it just happens. So if my voice cracks, if I go off onto some weird long tangent about how my voice doesn't work sometimes, you'll hear me sneeze in the hallway later, I promise. Yeah. So, but to get back to what we're talking about is, number 1 is getting to know them. Buyers want to be heard. They want to know that you've listened. They want to know that you care. I don't care if you care, but they do. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, everybody? It's so important, because if you can win the person, you win their business. If you are competing in agency, if you make a friendship first, guess what? The business comes. I promise you, this is how business works. Business in real estate is not transactional. Business in real estate is personal, especially in this market, especially working with buyers. You are going to have to lay down some things to them that they don't want to hear. But because you've built a personal relationship with them, they can understand it. Everyone make sense? Okay. Yes, so literally I sit down, I say, hey, my name's Austin, it's nice to meet you. Thank you for coming in today. We're gonna do 4 different things. Today, we're gonna talk about you. I wanna get to know you. I wanna know who you guys are and what you're about. It's literally what I say. And then I'm gonna go back and say, step 2, you're gonna get to know me, because you don't know me. You're just sitting down with some stranger. If you can make light of it, it makes this all so much more simple. So much more simple. And then I say, hey, step 3, we're going to talk about what you need in real estate. Don't tell me in step 1. Don't tell me in step 1. Because in step 1, I want to know you. I don't want to know your real estate needs. I want to know you. That's important. That's important to say that. And then step 4, we're going to talk about what it takes to hire me. And I literally line item those things out so they have the expectations as to what we are looking for, what we are doing in today's meeting. Sometimes my meetings are 45 minutes. Sometimes they're 2 hours. But I can tell you by the pre-qualification of me getting to that meeting, how long that meeting should take me. Because does everyone know a DISC? What a DISC is? DISC personalities, DISC. Everybody? And everyone said, yes, great, okay. So if I'm talking to a D, high D, very direct, they want bullet points, I'm cutting the fluff. I'm not fluffing. That's my 45-minute conversation. That is my 45-minute consultation. I can be very direct. Personally, I am an I, a high I, and a high S. Does everyone know what that means? I can talk a lot, but I also don't like to talk that much. So it's really fun. It's really fun. Basically, I can mirror and match any personality. If you want to talk direct to me, I can talk direct. If you want to be fluffy, that's cool, man. I can be fluffy too. You know, there's a comedian, I can't remember his name, but he's called Mr. Fluffy, and I just love him. He's hilarious. Gabriel Iglesias, look him up. He's hilarious. I digress often. That's just what you're going to have to deal with today. See, it's my eye coming out. I'm here. I have a microphone. Thank you. And we're talking. Okay, so does anyone else have questions about number 1 and why that going over number 1 is important? Nobody. Awesome. Okay. Number 2. So we go over 2. We're going over who I am. Why is that important? Building trust. Yes. Why else? They're knowing the person they're going to do business with. Yes. What else?
Back to expectations and how you operate.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's everything we are doing in this 4-step process is setting expectations. Every way of the conversation, we are setting expectations. Because if you look back at number 1, I set the expectation. We're not talking about real estate. I'm talking about you. I want to know you. I am leading them through this conversation. If you can't lead them in the conversation, how are you going to lead them in the contract, in the process? You have to lead them from the moment they sit down. I don't care if they're a high D and they think they're high and mighty. They can think that they're leading the conversation, but if you are skilled in what you do, you are the one leading the conversation. Does that make sense? Okay, so why else? What else am I doing in step 2? And I'm talking about myself. I'm telling them things like, I'm married. I've been married for 7 years as of June. I've got 2 adorable little boys. My family is my heart. There are going to be times that you may see my boys come with me because my wife needs a break. There are going to be times that you are going to see my family with me showing you a house, because it's important to me that if we are out doing something and we can break away in this market to get you in a house, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do what others won't. That's who I am. I was born and raised here in Springfield. I went to a small private Christian school called New Covenant Academy. Some know it, some don't. I went there for 13 years. I'm that private school kid. Yeah, that's a stigma. You'll see it later. Then from there, I went to College of the Ozarks. College of the Ozarks, I graduated and got a degree in business management and then a degree in public relations. Basically, I took the long way of getting a marketing degree. Yeah, 2 degrees for one. It's really what it boiled down to. And then I end up in a career that I don't need a degree for. So there's that. But these are all the things that I'm telling them. If they've made mention of a dog, I make mention of my dog, Nala. Bless her heart, she's dumb. She is special. She's a Great Pyrenees Golden Retriever, but she thinks she's this big. She'll sit on your lap. If you lay down, she'll sit on your chest. Just square up, sit on you. It is rough. Let me tell you. Nala, get up. Get up. Just doesn't do anything. Doesn't click with her. Doesn't click with her. But the other reason I am telling them about me is that way when they know that, hey, they're calling me at 8 o'clock at night, because guess what? Buyers do that. Guess what? They call you at 10:30 at night. They know that I've got a family. They know that if I don't pick up right then, that I will get back to them. They know that, hey, I'm so sorry. I know this is probably bedtime. Just really quick, call me when you're free. No problem. I've set the expectation that I have a family and that I have family time. But also in this market, they understand that I'm willing to go above and beyond what others won't. I'm willing to go in and say, I'll take my family, just don't mind them. They're going to stay in the car. They may get out, don't mind them. They're willing to come though, because they know that you are just as important in this market. Another thing to remember with buyers is that it does not matter their price point. If you do not treat them with respect of $1 million buyer and a $30,000 buyer, you are not going to stay in this business long. So I had a client, I don't know, it's probably 4 years ago. Single lady, newly single. I had been showing her and her husband homes. Her husband tragically died in a car accident. Her name is Nisha, and I love her to death. She is a very sweet lady. She had a $70,000 budget. $70,000, not very big, but it was all she had. And it was my goal to find her house. It was my goal. I found her house, found one, did it. We went under contract. We closed it. No big deal. We got through it. She refers me all the time. She refers me all the time. That $70,000 deal, that one deal that was $70,000 has turned into probably at least $1 million in business. So this is what I'm saying is that if you can't treat the $70,000 buyer like the $1 million buyer, something's not clicking. You've missed an at bat. This is an at bat right here. And if you miss it, you've probably missed out on, 10 more transactions. So again, it's important to me to win the person at the table. Evan and I's business runs a mile deep. What does that mean? Anyone knows what that means? Anybody? What does it mean when I say my business runs a mile deep? It's relationship. There's a mile deep and there's a mile wide. We chose to go a mile deep. Will we be number one? Probably not. That's okay with me. That's okay. We all have our own success. Success is defined in the eyes of the beholder. My success is different than yours. Your success is different than his. Darren, your success is different than Rick's. We all have different success. It's all in who you are. We chose to be a mile deep in our relationships with our clients. I can call anyone, not anyone. There's some clients I don't want to call. I can call most of my clients today and we can pick up right where we left off, whether it was 6 years ago or 6 months ago. We can pick right up where we left off. That's important. Why is that important? Because they're going to buy another house. And their friends are going to buy another house. Their friends' friends are going to buy another house. Their family is going to buy a house. Their coworkers are going to buy a house. Guys, if you can understand the concept that one person has connections to 250 people, one person has 250 people that they know in their circle. It may not be their tight circle, but on Facebook, I bet they have 500 friends or 1,000 friends. If you can capture that one, you've seen the eyes of 1,000. We go a mile deep with this one person to make sure that we can continue to go a mile deep with the next. Because when I call Josh McMullen, I probably shouldn't say that on, sorry. When I call him, what's up, dude? How are you? How's your family? That's the conversation that we have. How's your little one? How's the house renovations coming? Those are the things that we have conversation with. It's not, hey, do you want to buy a house? If you start pushing the person over pushing the business will always come. Push the person, not the business. Okay, number three. Number three, we are going over what their needs are. So, in number three, what should you have already had? By the time that you get to point number three, we're talking about your real estate needs. What is some things that you should have already pulled out of that conversation? Kids and pets. If their mother-in-law lives with them, that's right. That's right. What else? Where they want to buy. Yep. Indications there. What else? What else should you have already pulled out? Motivation for selling and buying. Absolutely. What else? Yeah, I mean, you should find out what their jobs are. You know, you're not going to find out how much they make, but you know, you're going to find out what kind of position they have. What else? What else are you going to find out? You're going to find out what they do on the weekends. Why is that important? What they do on the weekends is what they do in their home every day. What they do after work. We love to have friends over. Awesome. Making a mental note that they like to entertain. I need to have a great entertaining space or a big enough living space that they can have their friends over, or they like to be outside. He loves to barbecue. Awesome. We need a patio or we need a deck. We need some place that he can put his barbecue stuff, his smoker, his grill, whatever. You're going to find out what their life looks like. If you can find out what their life looks like, you can guide step three. Okay, so what I'm hearing you say, so when we're talking about real estate needs, you've got 3 kids. So do we need 4 bedrooms, or are you okay to share? What I did right there is I brought back the topic of what they said earlier. They said, I've got 3 kids. Great. So you bring it back. You are showing that you've listened. You've showed that you've listened. So you can bring back any point of the conversation. And the more times you bring it back up, the more confidence they have in you. You get it? So I hear you say you've got 3 kids. You need at least 4 bedrooms. Is that right? Absolutely. Yes. Okay. You said you had a dog. Does your dog stay outside or is it an inside dog? It's an outside dog. Okay. So we need to have a fence. Yes. Let me ask you a question. If it was the right house and it didn't have a fence, would you still look at it? Maybe. I kind of need a yes or a no. No. Okay. Then listen, we are just narrowing down every home that we looked at right here. So I'm going to tell you, if a fence is an absolute must, you went from 10 homes to 1. So how picky are we going to be on the rest? Oh, shoot. Okay. Well, yeah, I'd be willing to look at a house without a fence. Great. Okay. See what I did? I led them where I wanted them to go. I wanted to set that expectation up front to say, it's okay to have not everything you need up front. The other things that you can take away and put into this is, the obvious questions. How many bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, garage, location, all of those things come into factor. You need to hit your needs before your wants. In this topic, you need to hit your needs before your wants. What are your bare bones? And I literally say, what are the bare bone minimums you need? I need a 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage, no less than 1,300 square feet, home in Springfield. Great. Thank you. These are the bare bone things. We'll get to the rest of it. We'll get to the rest of it. So when you are going over the needs, what are some other areas of things you guys need to be finding out in the needs? And that's a question. School districts. Okay. What about school districts?
They have a preferred school district.
Okay.
They have a kid with special needs that needs to be close to the specific school.
Okay. What else? What else is going to be important? We've hit school districts, beds, baths, square footage. Haven't hit price yet. Haven't hit price yet. Why have I not hit price yet? Don't know what they need. So if I ask for price right up front, I'm going to judge them immediately. Straight up. That's human. Right? If I ask for price right up front, I'm not going to listen to half of the things that they're telling me. And that's just the reality of it. Now, if they offer it up front, that's fine. But I'm not going to be asking for it because I don't want to make any predetermined opinions. Wow. Thank you, Lindy. You're great. I appreciate you. That's right. So I don't want to make any predetermined opinions about them or what they can or cannot afford. So I want them to tell me what their bare bones are, what their bare bone needs are, and then tell me price. And then we're going to get into, are you going to be paying cash or financing? Why do you phrase it like that? That's right. Don't judge a book by its cover. Some of the richest people I know, you would never know they had a dollar to their name. Never know. But they got some money. And yet, let me tell you what, they'll still finance. They'll still finance. They will use the power of the market to their advantage. They'll leverage the cash that they have because that's how they got there. But if you put cash out front, guess what? The buyer who's FHA, Guess what they're thinking? Oh my gosh, he thinks I have the ability to pay cash. Thank you. Man, I'm building morale. I'm building them up. I'm making sure that they are the center of my attention. I'm making sure that they know that they are important, whether they're whoever buyer. It doesn't matter to me. I ask it in those ways to make sure that they know they're valued. Because I'm going to tell you, you're not always going to work with a $300,000 buyer. You're not always going to work with a seller who gets 50 offers. You're not always going to get those. This is not an easy occupation. This is not an easy career. Now, you can make it an easy career, but the harder it gets, the more you will reward. The more reward you will get. Because the more challenges you go through, that means the more deals you have. So inside of number 3, we are continuing that. And I'm going to then set some expectations of the market. So, okay, so I hear that these are the bare bones things that you have. You said that you need a 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage house, 1,300 square feet, and your budget is $130,000. Okay. So I want to set some expectations with you guys right now. I want to be real. That's going to be a challenge to find. I need to know from you guys, are you willing to accept that challenge? And here's what I mean by that, is that in our market, in my entire MLS, my entire board, every listing that we have available to us, there's 1,325 homes on the market. That's it. 1,325. Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, and I'll break it down to there. So she said there's 8 at that price point. Yeah, and there's a bajillion buyers. But see, now I'm all bojangled. No, there's 100 and 1,300 or whatever listings in the market. That's total. That's not Springfield. That's total. I want them to understand the reality of the market that they are entering. Is that there's no such thing as a perfect house. There's no such thing as getting a deal. If you're in the market to get a deal and on the MLS, you're in the wrong market. And I'm going to tell them these things. Because if I don't set the expectation of that today, I'm going to write 10 offers for these people. I'm going to say, you need to write above asking price. Here are the terms that you need to write. And they're going to go, no, I think I want to come in 10 under. It doesn't matter at that point what I say, because I didn't set the expectations up front. You're setting expectations up front, right here, before you even go see a house. So continuing down into that track, I'm going, there's 1,300 on the market total. There's 2,400 agents. There's not even a home per agent on the market. We're in a seller's market. But here's the good news, is that you're going to get a killer interest rate. Because guess what? It doesn't matter if it's 4%, 3.5%. It's a killer interest rate. You want to look at bad interest rates? Look at the 80s. 17% interest. National average was 6%. Across the nation, our national average historically was 6%. Anything under that is gravy, guys. We've been spoiled for a decade. We've been spoiled for a decade. So when the buyer says, I'm not pre-approved yet, but I hope I get, a 3% interest rate, I'm going to tell them, hey guys, it doesn't matter what your interest rate is. It's a good interest rate. You need to build that confidence with them. Now, if the lender quotes them 4%, you're going to have questions for that lender, right? Yeah. Why? Why is it 4%? These are things you're going to have conversations with later. But inside step 3, we're talking about real estate and their needs and the expectations of these needs. The more questions that you go over, the fewer homes you are going to show. The fewer offers you are going to write, because the greater the expectation for these buyers then is. Does everyone understand that? The more questions you ask today, I'd rather, I think it was Jen Davis, 5 years ago said, I'd rather ask you 100 questions today and show you one house and it be the right one, or ask you one question and show you 100. Now, obviously, we don't have 100 homes today, but the concept is still there. Because if you don't know the intimate details of what they are looking for, who they are, and finding out who the driver is, whether it's, him, her, whoever, there's one driver in the seat. You need to make sure that they're on board. So when we go through this, we are setting expectations. We are leading the client. Again, I'm leading them from the moment they sit down. It's incredibly important as agents, as the real estate professional that you are, is to lead your client. Never should they be leading you. They may think that they're leading you, and that's okay, as long as you have the reins. Okay? Excuse me. Okay. What else should we be covering in step number 3 in the expectations and what they are looking for? What are the other things we should be looking at? What questions do you guys have about step number 3? Cole.
Question, but kind of more of an observation. I feel it's like walking a very fine line when setting the expectations with somebody without being completely discouraging.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, if they're not getting the reality of the situation, I guess the discouraging part is actually just keeping you from wasting more time.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had anything to.
Yeah. So Cole, what Cole said was that there's a fine line between setting the expectation and completely wrecking that person. That's the best way I can put that. Destroying their morale. There is. And when someone comes into you and says, that seems like a lot, what should your follow-up be to that? That's the question. What should your follow-up be to, this sounds daunting? That's why you're going to hire me. That's exactly right. That's why I'm here. I'm here to take this burden off your shoulders. Because I firmly believe teamwork makes the dream work. And I'll tell them that too. I'm the cheesiest guy you'll know, I swear. Ask my team. Yeah. So when we fight this line of, coming in and saying, this is a hard market, but also setting those expectations, there's a delivery in which you have to say it. It's not, you're going to write 10 offers and you're probably going to lose 9. It is this. It is, hey, listen, I just want you to be aware, you may not get the first house that you make an offer on. But guess what? That just means it wasn't the right house. There's a better house for you, and we're going to go find it. We're going to make sure that we get you in the right house at the right time for the right price. Oh, that sounds good. Awesome. Okay. All we are doing in this consultation is listening and building morale. Because they know, they've seen, before they sit down with you, they've seen Zillow. They've seen realtor.com. They've seen all of these things come up and go off. Hey, I saw that house that hit the market 2 days ago. Now I can't find it. Where did it go? Oh, well, it was the one that had 45 offers on it. I'm sorry. It had 45 offers. They went way over asking price. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's why it's important for us to meet today. Is so that I know what you need, what you are looking for, and I can show you how we can be successful together. And in these steps, depending on the person and depending on the questions that they are asking, I'm going to go into further detail about strategies. Hey, there are strategies in this that we can put in our contract to win for you. There are strategies that we can do to make sure that we come out ahead, or making sure that we give it our best up front. Because Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, I will tell you today, there is no, gone are the days of getting that second opportunity. For the seller to come back to you and counter. We have to make sure that we are putting our best foot forward first. Does that make sense? And they say, yeah, it does. So the other part of that is we have to make a quick but educated decision. So when we are going through the home, I'm going to tell you, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, that your emotions are going to be high. Oh my gosh, I love it. This is so great. This is fantastic. This is everything I thought it would be and more. Great, great, great. Your job is to fall in love with the home. Or your job, probably not fall in love with the home in this market. Your job is to make sure that you like the house. My job is to have your 6. I got your back. I'm going to be going through this house very analytical, making sure that, hey, this does not have the 4th bedroom that you said you needed. Right, but I can overcome that because bedroom 3 is bigger. I understand that. I just want to make sure that you are still good with this, because your expectations of me were to make sure that we get you in the right house, at the right time, for the right price. This doesn't fit one of your criteria. Are you sure? Yes. Okay, I've done my job. I've asked. I will go through the house and point out negative things about the house. And I'll tell them, I am here to point out negative things in the house. I'm also going to point out positive things. I should be pointing out one positive for every one negative. And negative things don't have to be bad things. They just need to be realistic things. Hey, this is a pretty tight living room. How would your furniture work in this? It would work fine. I've got a couch and a love seat. Okay, perfect. I'd point out things like, hey, this is something to keep an eye on for our inspection. If we get the house, we want to make sure that the foundation gets looked at, because I do see a crack here. I'm not a foundation expert. That's not me. Not a home inspector. I'm a real estate agent. I'm just here to make sure that we've got as many eyes on this house for you as possible. These are the expectations that I'm set with them up front. So going back to what Cole asked earlier, is that's how I overcome those things. That's how I make sure that our meeting isn't a Debbie Downer. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to go into a real estate meeting and come out of it going, well, holy crap, this sucks. But what I want them to come away with it is that, hey, this is a tight and competitive market, but I know Austin's got my back. The other things that we'll ask about in step 3 is going to be furniture. And I mentioned it earlier, but why is asking about furniture important? Yes. So you need to fit the size, things have to fit in the rooms. Here's what I'm not saying. I'm not saying you're going to buy a house to fit your furniture. That's not right. It should be the other way around. What I am saying, though, is I am saying that if you have a king size bed, I know that person's not going to go back to a queen. We have to make sure that the master is big enough to accommodate a king size bed and maybe another piece of furniture. Simple things like that. Because I ran into, I don't know, probably 4 years ago, I didn't ask about furniture. I didn't ask about large pieces of furniture that are important to them. And so I showed them a house that was perfect in every way, and they go, "This isn't it. This is just not it." Why? My bed won't fit. Oh, well, that's kind of a big deal. I get it. Okay. I have a California king size bed. That's good information to know. That's good to know. Do you guys know what a shrunk is? You ever seen a shrunk? A shrunk is a German handmade piece of furniture that can be like 12 feet long and 9 feet high. Comes apart in 4 different pieces, or 3 sometimes. It's a big old thing. I make sure that if they have a piece of furniture like that, we need to make sure that the ceiling height is going to accommodate it. So I'll ask the buyer to, hey, after we leave this appointment today, go ahead and go get measurements of certain things like your shrunk, your king size bed, or your 9-foot long sectional. Important things, because, depending on the price point of that buyer, they probably can't go afford to go buy a new piece of furniture to fit that house. Now, if you're in a, the 2 to, 700,000 or $1 million, whatever, 200 plus, yeah, they can probably go get some new furniture, maybe. But the reality of it is you just need to make sure that they know that you're thinking about everything up front. These are the things in the consultation that are so important to hit. Because, again, I'd rather ask you 100 questions today and show you one home than ask one and show you 100. I want to get in your mind. I don't tell them that. That's weird, right? But I want to understand where they're coming from. If you can understand where they're coming from, you're going to be a better agent. The other expectations that we hit there are going to be things like, you're not my only client. I can't come to your beck and call at every hour of the day. Remember, I have a family. Remember, I run a business. But my job is to make sure that you feel like you are my only client. If you call me and I don't pick up, I'm going to call you or text you back as soon as I can. As soon as I can. And it may be a text that says, hey, I'm in a meeting. I'll call you right back. Because I may be with another person that needs my attention. And when I'm with you and showing a house, you don't want me to be on the phone with you, do you? No. I want you to be 100% with me. That's right. So does that person. So just know if I can't pick up, guys, I will get back to you as soon as I can. I promise. If it's 10:30 at night, probably not going to pick up my phone unless we're in a multiple offer situation and, we got to win this house right here, right now. The other things that I'm going to be going over there is I'm also going to be telling them about what I'm doing behind the scenes. Yeah, I'm going to set up a search based on the criteria that you have. Yeah, I'm going to send you to my website so that you can go make your own searches. But also, I'm going to be calling agents. If you've done a deal with me before, you understand that more times than not, I'm going to be asking you, what do you have coming up that I need to know about? You want to win business? Find people off market properties. You want to win friends in real estate? Give them a buyer before they even need to go on the market. Whether it's a great market, whether it's a terrible market, make friends in real estate and they're going to get you deals. There's an agent that is not with this company, I'd love for him to be with this company, but I've tried. Just Tim's listening. I've tried. Happy where he is. I love him. He's a good friend of mine. He and I have probably done 6 transactions that have never hit the market. And it's simply because I've made a friendship with him. And I ask him often, hey, dude, what you got coming up that I need to know about? I've got a buyer for that. When can I see it? Now we've got clear cooperation and all of those things. There's ways to make sure that you're compliant with that. Absolutely. And I would say, and I will state, be compliant. We got an X on our back here at Keller Williams. Be compliant more than anyone else. Be compliant. But the thing is that I win these deals because I've made relationships with these other agents outside of Keller Williams. We are a great company, but there are other great people out here. Hold that true. Because when you're in a multiple offer situation and I can know that agent very, very well, and I know how they operate and they know how I operate, even if I'm not the highest offer, I got a really good shot at getting it because they know how I operate. They know my integrity. They know how my team does business. And that's crucial. So the other expectations, and we're going back into the consultation. I know I've gone around, but the other expectations is that if there's a home that hits the market and you are at work and you can't get off, what are we going to do about it? I need to set the expectation up front that I need to be able to know if I can go through it for you and FaceTime you, or I need to know that you can take work off and come see it. Because if it hits that morning and you can't take off, I need to know how we want to proceed. Whether that is me going through it, us going on lunch, or whether we've just missed it. So I need to find out the expectations of them. And then I ask them, what expectations do you have for me? I end number 3 with what do you expect from me? And we talk about those things. And generally those things are going to be to find me a house, to make sure it closes, and make sure I'm not homeless. Okay. But in the event that, the lease that you have, we can't find something before it ends, do you have a plan B? And they'll say yes or no. If they say no, I'll ask them, where are you staying? Well, I'm staying at, a duplex owned by an individual. How long have you been there? A year or 6, whatever. Have you paid on time every time? Yes. Okay. Well, more than likely, if they are any sort of a good landlord, they will allow you to go month to month. But you need to ask, hey, I am looking to purchase a home right now. It's a competitive market out there. If I can't find a home by the time that my lease is up, would you be willing to extend me grace and give me a month-to-month lease? Or a 3-month extension? 3-month extension. Because what I'm also going to explain to them is that when you go get a mortgage, when you go get a pre-approval letter, if it's a traditional loan, meaning conventional FHA, USDA, VA, if it's a normal loan, not an in-house portfolio loan, but a traditional loan, if we close, let's say May 1st, do you guys know when their first payment will be? Anybody? When's When's their first payment? If we close May 1st, when's their first payment? July 1st. Do you guys know why that is? Yeah. Yep. But also it's closing costs. Right? So closing costs and prepaids, you're prepaying for the month that you close in and the month ahead. And then you pay in arrears. But if you say it's paid in arrears, most buyers aren't going to understand what that means. So when you explain it that if we close, and you have to be very specific in making sure that they are not obtaining an in-house loan, because an in-house loan, the first payment is due 30 days after generally speaking, 30 days after the closing date, whether that's the 1st, the 12th, or the 20th. If it's an in-house loan, more than likely their payment is due 30 days after that first day.
By in-house, are you talking about a bank that would keep the loan themselves and not sell it on them?
No, what I mean by that is like a portfolio, like a 5-1 arm, a 5-year balloon. Hey, we'll keep it, we'll keep the rate fixed for 5 years, and then after 5 years, we are going to readjust for another 5 years, where it's someone that can't do a secondary market loan, where they maybe are a self-employed person and the bank is willing to give them Landy, whether the bank is willing to give them a loan because they only have a year worth of self-employment, that's going to be kept in-house. What I mean by that is that bank will actually hold the note. More or less not what you're talking about. You're talking about like Arvest or Arvest or Central will physically hold the note because they are a big enough entity that they can. They don't have to go to the servicers. They don't have to go to the secondary market. They are that market. So when you explain things like that to them, that will be a burden off their shoulders as well, because, I meet with people who aren't always immediate buyers. Hey, my lease isn't up until September, but I'd like to meet and figure out where I need to go from here. Okay, great. So just so you know that we can close in July and have 1 month overlapping, or we can close in August and your first mortgage payment won't be until October. Oh, so you're actually not that early. Oh, good to know. Good to know. Be as informative in this as you can, because that is only going to help step 4. Do you guys remember what step 4 is? Hire me. Guess what? We just spent 45 minutes together, an hour together. Do you think someone's going to say, no, I'm not going to hire you and spend an hour with you? There's a reason to the process. Guess what? I built them up. I listened to them. They know who I am. I set the expectations. And then lastly, I go over buyer's agency. There's a reason to the madness. They're going to sign. I assume that. I will assume that right then and there. But also I show them my knowledge and the fact that I will go over buyer's agency with them. And Taylor in the back there is on my team. He can attest to it. I will turn it around, give them the buyer's agency, and then read it to them upside down. I know what I'm talking about. And now they know. So for you guys, go through the agency agreement. That is the Missouri Broker Disclosure Form, as well as the Buyer's Exclusive Agency Agreement. Read each paragraph and make a bullet point as to what you want to talk about in that bullet point. Because I don't need to read it physically, but I do need to know what it says. And so when I turn it around, I can go over all of the terms that are there that they need to know about with them while they read it or while they, skim over it. I can go This is point number one. This is what this means. This is point number two. This is what this means. Here's what dual agency is. And I explain what dual agency is. Here are the three general things that I have to do for you guys. And I've internalized what those things are enough that I can just start saying it. And I know that as I point with my pen or my finger or wherever I'm at or whatever I have, I can explain in a bullet point or in a couple bullet points what each paragraph is. Because if you guys want to be the true experts in this market, you need to know your contracts. You need to know your agency. If you want them to believe it, you need to believe it. The only way for you to believe it is to repeat it, practice it, grab a script partner, go through it, make your notes on it, practice it with your friends and family. When I got into this business, I was 22, 23, I don't remember, something like that. And I just asked people, can I practice on you with a consultation? Can I practice comping your house? Can I practice comping your parents' house? Would your parents let me practice showing them what the market looks like? And they said, yeah. Because your friends are here to help you too. Does that make sense? Your friends and family want to see you succeed as much as you want to succeed. Whether you have friends or family here or not, there are people that have your back. And those are the people to practice on. So that's everything. What questions do you guys have? Questions, comments, concerns?
When you're going through a list of needs with buyers, you just kind of have a checklist that you go off of, or you just kind of have it down pat so you know what you need to ask?
Yeah, I don't have a list. So what Cole asked is, do I have a list or a sheet that I follow? No. I've got an iPad and I take my notes on my iPad. I know basically what I need to be asking for, because here's what happens with buyers. Buyers are liars. They're going to tell you one thing on the wants. I want a white kitchen. Guess what house they're going to buy? The house with the dark cabinets. I tell the buyers that there are, if you can find a house that meets 7 out of 10 of your criteria, it's probably a house that you need to be seriously considering in this market. But I as far as having a list, no, I don't have a list. It ebbs and flows with each person. It really comes down to the needs of the individual.
That's the way I find myself doing it. Sometimes I also get frustrated when I forget to ask a certain thing. But
Yeah.
I thought maybe it'd be helpful, but I'm afraid it would get in the way too much.
Yeah, I tried, man, I even created like a Google form that I could just fill out and it would go into a spreadsheet, and I tried to be really cool about it. I'm not that guy. It's not me. I'm sure there's people out there that have spreadsheets upon spreadsheets. I'm a pen and paper kind of guy, and I'm a, I'm a type B, if that makes sense. If you go look at my desk, you'll know it real quick. I hope you guys know what that means. Yeah. But no, I mean, you hit your basics. Think about your list that you're asking as to what the buttons are on the left side of the MLS. What are you searching for? Okay, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, garage, location, price. It's all right there. I'm just mentally filling out their search in my head.
I usually create a search for somebody, but then I also go onto the hot sheets and watch their search to see what's come up. And a lot of times they'll tell you if there's something that they're interested in, but
yeah,
sometimes I send them stuff too, because I'm afraid that maybe they've missed something. What's your kind of strategy there with making sure they've seen what's coming? Do you rely on them finding it themselves via the searches you created, or are you?
So great question. So what I will tell you to that is, his question was, do I rely on searches? And the answer is no, but as much of a yes as I can. I will create, and what I will tell them is my searches are as broad as I can get them to be. Where you may tell me you don't want to look at anything under 2,000 square feet, I'm going to send you homes at 1,800 square feet and higher. Because all that is going to do is allow you to reject it online. But if we find that perfect house that was 1,950 square feet, it makes sense. I want to make sure that everything can be accounted for. You're going to get a whole bunch of homes in your email, hopefully. If I did my job right and went as broad as I could, you're going to get homes every day in your email. They're not going to be a perfect fit. It's not a perfect science. But what it is getting them at bats. Because they may say one thing and change their mind later. So I rely on that search to send them homes as much as I can, but I'm also looking at the hot sheet as well, as to find out, is there anything that I've missed that could have been a good fit? Or I will text them, hey, a new home just hit the market. Check your email. Let me know what you think. But more than likely, they are seeing the home before you are seeing the home. If they are really trying to get a house, because that is their one goal. Then as an agent, you may have another client or two or three or four. So when I said teamwork makes the dream work a while ago, I mean that is that finding the home, I may not be that person. I may not be the one that finds you that home. It may be you that finds it online. I may not be the one to text you about it. But what I am is I'm the person to make sure that it's the right house when you send it to me, or when we talk about it, or when we see it, making sure that everything matches what we need it to match. And then I'm the guy to make sure that when we go to make that offer, it's an educated offer. It's an offer that's going to make sense for that house. It's an offer that will make sense for you as the buyer. Teamwork makes the dream work. Other questions? Anything online? Cool. Well, guys, my name's Austin Stiles. Look me up. If you have questions, call me, text me. We have an office upstairs. I'm with Evans Group, and we've got the banner outside of our office. Stop in anytime, meet our team, and if you have questions, just let us know. Thanks, guys.